Sir.
Okay, sir.
You can start.
Uh, Friends, good evening and Jai Bhim. Today, it's my privilege to introduce my friend Mr. Abhijit Kumar. I will start it by a quote. The true leadership is not about holding positions of power, but about using one's power to serve others. At the height of his career, when many would cling to power, he chose the tougher road to leave it behind and serve the society. Mr. Abhijit Kumar, after being highly educated, he completed his engineering from MNIT Jaipur. Then he went to IIM Ahmedabad and completed his MBA. And then he was selected in the Indian Revenue Service. And he rose in the career, he was Commissioner of Income Tax. 10 years were left and he took voluntary retirement. That shows his commitment and his dedication for the society. His main aim was that now I am 10 years younger, I am still in my youth, I can do something for the society. If I complete my tenure of 60 years, then I will be old and I may not have the energy left. He has done various social services in his native place, Bharatpur, and he has built a five-story hostel with hundreds of rooms for poor people of our community. He has started many other projects also. He has he has started some cooperative societies for the rural people. There are 4 or 5 societies branches are still working, and he has done lot of other services, social services in his area. And my interaction started, my contact came to him in 10,000, 20,000, some 14 years ago. So I saw his library. He is one of the best personal libraries in Jaipur. I think I have heard till Baba Sahib only that Baba Sahib has a wonderful library. The second person I saw, he is Mr. Abhijit Kumar in Jaipur. I don't know the number of books, but he has a complete hall of books. And he is a staunch follower of Baba Sahib. He got printed in bulk the life history of Baba Sahib and distributed. And otherwise, also, on all occasions, they are celebrating Buddha Jayanti, they are celebrating 14th April, and they are doing all sorts of things. So, all these impressed me very much. Then, after resignation, he started his foreign politics. So, he was mayor of Bharatpur city for 5 years, and we keep on interacting. He has started certain projects in the city itself. And for the first time, colonies where our people are inhabited, he got roads constructed, sewer lines installed, and many such activities. Now the people remember him. Yes, somebody from our area, our community came and he did something for us. Because people observe when you are not there. So, like that, I have many other things to introduce, but I have, in nutshell, I have described. He is a very dynamic personality. He is very voracious reader, and his interests are in variety of fields. That shows, as per his topic chosen by him today. It's a very abstract topic, so we all will be listening, and we keep on, if I had to discuss something, I refer to him. And I stand enriched by his readership and by his voracious intellectual thirst. I am a most beneficiary of that. So, with these words, I open the floor for others. Thank you very much.
So just 1 minute, sir. Just I will introduce the topic. Sir, today we have the 62 lecture series, and today our topic is caste and neuroscience and neuroside, breaking the neural chains of oppression. So today topic is given by our sir Abhijit Kumar sir. This is so Abhijit sir, you can carry on. You can give the lecture.
Thank you very much for a very appreciable my introduction given by Dr. Mahendra Anand. Ladies and gentlemen, today I will take you to a different aspect. Now, you must have read caste in relation to our society, caste in terms of economics, caste in terms of social justice. But today's topic is absolutely different. Now, it's absolutely different in the sense that this aspect has never been considered, as far as I understand, as far as I know from different readings, that this particular aspect has not even touched till to date. We know what are the adverse effects of castes in India, but we do not know how does it affect as a person, how does it affect my personality, how does it affect the entire generation. So I don't say that I'll be in a position to enlighten this topic to you, but I can guarantee you that after this 35-40 minutes of talk, you will have different perspective of caste, and probably you have got different vocabulary for a struggle. Caste, as we all understand, is a social hierarchy. It's a mentally or cognitively internalized system, politically mobilized, and historically to concentrate privileges on one set of people and responsibility on other set of people. This caste has created a dichotomy of the society, one which is blessed with all the power under the sun, but no responsibility toward the society. The other section of the society, what we call, are the backwards, which includes not only OBC, SC, and ST. These people are, the responsibility of the society is thrust on them, but there's no power given to them. So the system has become, on one hand, there is oppressor. On one hand, there is ruler. The other hand is oppressed and ruled. So this system has created such a lopsided society. Now, what does it affect? Neuroscience, let me just briefly give you, it's a multidisciplinary subject. It basically deals with the nervous system of the human body, which includes your brain, spinal cord, and other things. But basically, the most important aspect of neuroscience is a study of our brain. Different kind of experiences, how do they affect our brain? That is study. And today I'll be introducing another word, which of course has been used earlier, but not in the sense today I'm using it, neuroscience. And to deal with neuroscience, there is a neurojustice. I will deal with this topic as and when we come to this thing. So take you to the this is visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it's visible.
It's visible. Caste, brain, and neuroscience, breaking the neural chains. Oppression is not only external, it creeps into our mind. Centuries of caste-based humiliation, exclusion, and violence have forged what we call is neural chain. In fact, caste has got a phenomena. If it is internalized, the person who internalizes this caste system, he feels inferior, number one. Number two, he has got self-doubt. Because once you accept your position in the caste system, what do? You start appreciating, not only appreciating, but you start obeying the dictates of the upper caste fellows. The internalization which means mentally you have been trained to accept this system. If you do not accept this system, in fact, the caste doesn't do anything. But over a period of time, its internalization has taken place by force, by Brahminical methods, so that you accept your position in the hierarchy of the caste that, okay, I am low caste fellow. So these neural chains have been developed all around us. Caste as total operation. The caste is not merely an economic hierarchy, economic or social hierarchy, but it is a total system of domination, and that operates through three interlocking mechanisms. What is those three interlocking mechanisms? One is oppression, discrimination, and exclusion. Now, oppression, direct violence, humiliation, and denial of dignity. That keeps the oppressed in constant fear. Second, discrimination. Now, that discrimination takes place as your job, it takes place in education institutions, denial of equal access to education, housing, even housing are denied. When a person from low caste community goes to the city for study purpose, the houses are also not available. And justice system, of course, it doesn't favor us at all. That ensures material deprivation. Now, third is exclusion. We all know how we are segregated in the village. Our mohallas, our bastis are separate from the mainstream. So we are excluded not only from economic resources, not only from the social resources, but public space and culture life. That reinforces our social isolation. Together, this mechanism creates a cage of graded inequality. That is a social cage. We are branded by certain stereotypes, and we are put in a basket which is different from so-called high caste. Caste operates, I'll come to that point in next slide, but let me just summarize. When there is, what is this, your internet connection unstable?
Your connection.
Mahendraji, are you listening to me?
We are listening.
I'm audible? I'm audible, na?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So this centuries caste-based subjugation has shaped recognizable behavioral patterns. Now, I'll give you one example. I will not deal with a whole lot of issues, but I deal with one example. You start doing some work. Let us presume that you wear good quality of clothes. Now, good quality of clothes as perceived by high caste fellows, that you are comparing with them and you are treating yourself equal to them. So what do? They use methods by which you are not allowed to wear good clothes. You are not the kind of social equality, the symptoms of social equality, symbols of social equalities are denied to you. That's the same thing happens in your marriages. Same thing happens when you publicly give any kind of feast to your brothers. This kind of thing, they think like you are coming to their place. You are encroaching their social system, and therefore they object to it. So what do? When you know the result is sure, when you know that the high caste fellows will come over you, it is certainty. So what do? When the highways collapse, you try to find out by lanes. When the main road is stopped, then you try to find out some streets to cover your path. Same thing happens when you are oppressed or physical violence takes place with you or with your family or with your community. Your brain learns something. What that learns something? It is called in neuroscience neuroplasticity. Let me just give you, when you do your work and you get success, there is a connection which is formed when there is a success the connection is formed in your brains. Neuroplasticity is a brain's intent. It's innate ability to rewire. When you get good results, the connection is formed. When you are failure, the connection is disconnected. So neuroplasticity ensures that you follow a particular behavior when you are being targeted by other people. So you live that way and you adapt another way. You come in a survival mode, how to survive in such kind of environment, and you withdraw your steps. So the passivity comes. You do not want to be active. You become passive. Now, distrust. You know the system is not working for you, so you start distrusting not only the system, but you start distrusting your own people. Jealousy, you know that you are grappling with the economic problems, you have to take care of your family, you are surviving on a daily basis, and therefore, if one of you goes out, or if that person, he works hard in his life and he leaves your society, the entire community becomes jealous of that. And low confidence. After doing work again and again, and the result is failure, so what happens to your personality? You start self-deprecating yourself, self-doubt, and that creates low confidence. We come to neuroscience of stress and stigma. How does it operate? See, let me summarize the brain structure. The brain has got 4 parts. One is primal brain, the middle circle, and this green circle is paleolimbic system. This is neolimbic system, and this is prefrontal. I do not want to take you into scientific terms, but simple thing is primal brain is the brain which deals your self-survival. And this limbic system, paleolimbic and neolimbic, these two systems, it's called a limbic system of the brain. It deals with the survival of the group. It deals with the motivation, stress, everything. This particular aspect is very, very essential because the stress operate in this system. I'll come to that point. And the outer ring shows prefrontal cortex. This prefrontal cortex it does the executive functions. It does thinking, it does rational thinking, imagination, creativity, decision making. Every executive function is done by prefrontal cortex, which is the main part and the most important part of the brain. Now, I'll narrate one thing. When you are oppressed or publicly humiliated, what happens? Your hypothalamus, which is situated in the limbic system, hypothalamus gets activated. And hypothalamus activates pituitary gland. And pituitary gland, in turn, releases 2 types of hormones. One, of course, thyroid, which takes care of your body temperature, your immune system, your stress response, BP, everything. Pituitary gland is responsible for maintaining your body system. But it releases certain hormones also. If you are happy, if there is a positive news, the dopamine is released in your body. And once dopamine is released, your brain forms the connection. Number 1. Number 2, if you are under stress, and when there is an operation, when there is a physical violence, when there is a public humiliation, the cortisol is released in your body. And that cortisol, when released, what it does? It destroys the functions of this prefrontal cortex, which means your brain is a whole system. It doesn't do any multitasking. If one part of the brain is doing one thing, the other part doesn't function at all, which means the brain does not do any multitasking. So when you are under operation, the cortisol is released in your body. You are under stress. And when you are under stress, your prefrontal cortex stops thinking, taking decision, being creative. Every executive function is just stopped. And this behavior is transported or transferred to next generation. So The caste system not only spoils your brain, but it spoils the future generations also. Now, coming to the next slide. Now, I'll give you an example. There's experimental evidence. Whatever I'm saying, economist, one is Hoff and the Priyanka Pandey. What did they do? They conducted one research in a school, and the puzzle was given. The 50 students from different schools were collected, and they were given one puzzle without telling anything about anybody's identity. And the result was they fared very well. They fared as good as well as others. So their performance was, let us presume it was 80%. Now, the same the group of people, group of students were given different puzzle, but this time their caste was revealed, that so and so is from this caste, so and so from this caste. So Dalits, or I would say the lower caste fellows, in that test, their performance reduced to a very great extent from 80 to 60. Now you know what stress does, what this stigma does to your personality. When your caste is hidden, you are very good, your performance is absolutely at par with the others. But once your caste is revealed, your performance comes down. So it's one evidence. Not many experiments, not many studies have been done in India, but there are a lot many studies done in America on black, this racial discrimination, blacks racial discrimination in America. The studies have also conducted in South Africa on apartheid. There are a lot many groups in the world, like Dalits in India, blacks in USA, apartheid in South Africa, and Romas in Europe. And there's one community called Burakumin in Japan. They are like caste in India. And this kind of studies have been done outside India, but not many studies have come done in India. But from those studies, we come to know that the oppressed people behave in the same fashion all over the world, whether they are in India or in Europe or in USA. Now, how this spoils the entire generation? Caste oppression, the HPA system, that is hypothalamus, pituitary, and adrenal, that system axis gets activated, cortisol is released in your body. This creates stress. And if it is done continuously, it creates chronic stress. So the chronic stress, it damages your neural, which means your mind is stopped from functioning. So neural damage is done, and you learn behaviors. So there are two types of behaviors. One, you adapt behaviors which is suitable to you under the circumstances, and second is learner helplessness. Whatever you do, you are going to get the same result. So you learned helplessness, and therefore you become passive, you become unimaginative, you do not take any initiative, and this is transferred to next generation. Now I would like to tell you one thing. The biology of the people are not changed a bit, come what may. It is not changed a bit. But what happens? I give you an example. Let's presume that the 5 people are going to prepare tomato soup. Now, the ingredients in tomato soup are same. Tomato, water, little bit of sugar, black pepper, salt, coriander. Some people use butter and bread pieces. Now, the 5 people are given same ingredients. But what happens when they prepare? Somebody puts more sugar, somebody puts less sugar, somebody puts more coriander, somebody puts something of that sort. So the flavor which is there, the ingredients are same, but the flavor is different. You know, you get 5 kinds of tomato soup because those 5 tomato soup are different prepared by different people, and therefore they must have mixed certain kind of the percentage of ingredients vary from one person to another person, and therefore that becomes responsible for the flavor. Similarly, what happens? Our DNA system remains same. It doesn't change, but the gene expression changes. A person, my father is subject to chronic stress, I will certainly inherit those qualities. See, you tend to express certain qualities because you have been subjected over a generation by those factors. So it is transferred to next generation, and our creativity, our thinking is because the society, the caste system has made us to adopt those kind of behaviors. It has been proved many a times that as far as merit is concerned, it is widely prevalent among the society. It is nobody's trademark. So that is how the neural damage is transferred from one generation to another generation. Now coming to next, the concept of neuroscience. Gentlemen, this to describe the silent violence of caste on the human brain, I introduced term called neuroscience. It's derived from neuros. It's a Roman word. Neuro means nervous system or brain, and side is to kill. So neuroscience refers to the systemic destruction or impairment of human brain potential through operation, humiliation, and exclusion. This we have discussed in our second slide. Unlike genocide, now you must have heard a word called genocide, in which a person is, a group of people is physically removed, they are killed. You must have heard ethnocide, where the culture of a particular group is destroyed. You must have heard epistemicide, where the knowledge system, like our library, Buddha's library was, the Buddhist literature was burnt. So these are the methods by which people are restricted to learn and to develop themselves. So this word is like, destroying your mental power, destroying your brain power to flourish. So this word is being used here. Now, neuroscience kills mind's capacity to flourish. It works invisibly because it is here, so it is not seen by anybody. So it works invisibly. Chronic fear and stigma keep the brain locked in survival mode, suppressing creativity, rational thinking, decision making. Now, it explains why communities under caste oppression may appear passive or divided or withdrawn, not due to inherent capacity, but because their very neural dignity has been assaulted. So this is a systemic killing of brain potential via stigma and exclusion. Coming to my next manifestation of neuroscience. What are the manifestations? When our brain is killed, you all understand what happens. Now, the first of all, how does it, the fear and the stigma creates fear in our brain system. When it stops functioning, naturally we do not focus on our education. The first victim of neuroscience is our education. The second, we withdraw ourselves. We become passive. Even if our number is more, even if oppressed number is more, but we do not resist people, our oppressor, when they are in very less number. Because historically, it has been experienced by us that even if we are in large number, ultimately the high caste fellows will exercise violence with our society, and they will give due to us. They will take revenge. Our health is also destroyed. Why health is destroyed? As I said earlier, hypothalamus is one aspect of that limbic system which controls our emotions. It controls our neuro stress response to stress, body temperature, BP. Now, if it is under constant, the chronic stress, our health gets deteriorated and we have got the stunted growth. So these are the manifestation of this neuroside. The education is affected, our functioning is affected, our executive functions are affected. How can we repair it? The next question comes, if this is the problem, how do we repair? What do we do? So in caste operation produces neuroside, then emancipation requires policies that can deliver neurojustice. It invites another term, how to repair the neural damage done to our brain. For that purpose, the policies should be delivered, or solid policies should be formed so that the neurojustice is dispensed. This demands intervention across multiple domains. The first one is education. How will you do? There's a process of doing it. I'll discuss in my next slide. But the education, this education, the curriculum, environment in which the education is granted, it should be safe and it should not destroy the dignity of low caste fellows. So in education, schools must become safe and inclusive. The second thing is economy. See, generally what happens, we all, the economic consequences of caste, we try to manage that thing or deal with this thing by advancing certain kind of freebies. For example, if you belong to a scheduled caste, some kind of things will be given to you. The loans will be given. But let me tell you one thing. Nobody can become entrepreneur if he gets loan. You give him 1 crore, 2 crore, 3 crores. Because our capacity to take decision has been impaired beyond repair by what? Chronic stress. I've been talking about this. Stress, by cortisol, stress is developed, and stress is developed, our prefrontal brain stops functioning. And what are the functions of prefrontal cortex? The functions are executive, decisions, planning, everything. So now the entrepreneurship requires planning, decision making, everything. So what we do, how can we develop Dalits in that sense? We have to basically handhold it for a longer period of time, so that first of all, the system is trusted by them. Number two, at every step, helping hand is available. Then only the Dalits can be converted into entrepreneurs. Otherwise, it's sexually the law. Though we have got many laws, but they are not being enforced. So the laws against anti-discrimination law, at least, should be implemented in letter and spirit. Media and culture. We all know what kind of media we are having. It is dominated by high caste, and therefore they have got naturally they have got stereotypes against Dalits. And again, that chronic stress has spoiled our health. So dedicated health plans, how to heal the trauma, all these kind of things have to be taken into consideration. Then only we can provide the neurojustice to the affected people. Now, specific interventions. I would like to discuss these specific interventions because, for example, let's come to education. Now we know that our education system is not very appreciable, I would say, because there was a study conducted in 2009. It is a study regarding the education system in India, and 74 countries participated in that. And in fact, what happened? Out of 74 countries, our place was 73rd. Only Kazakhstan was below us. So the education system is a rotten. It encourages rote learning. We all know. And now the new education policy also, it doesn't deal with the basic problems, but what it does, it glorifies the past. What it says, bring the tradition in the modern times. Nothing is going to happen. What is your tradition in olden time? The caste system. This is what you want to glorify. So basically, the specific intervention I would like to discuss is first is ECCE, Early Child Care and Education. Now, I'll give you one example. See, everybody knows that 90% of the brain is developed. 90% of the brain is developed by the age of 6. These are called the formative years. 10% of our brain is developed by the age of 24. So what we do in our education, now think about the resources which have been diverted or which have been invested for our higher education, schooling and higher education. We spend 98-99% of the funds. And for ECCE in India, nothing. I give you another example. There's a community called Yahudis, Jews. The 20% Nobel Prizes go to them. And what is their education? Without ECCE, they do not admit in primary class also. Why ECCE is very essential? As I told you, 90% of the brain is developed during those 6 years, those 4 years, 2 to 4 years, that's 90% of the brain is developed. So what is the natural corollary of this decision, of this knowledge? Is this 90% of the resources have to be developed from 2 to 4 years. But what we do just ulta. We do just opposite. We do not spend any money in ECCE, and we spend 98-99% money in our schooling and higher education. There is a Nobel laureate. I would like to request the audiences, they can, if they have time, to go through the findings of James Heckman. James Heckman is a Nobel laureate, which conducted what he did. He selected a group of black students under 3. He put those 20 students in ECCE, that is Early Child Care and Education, a very quality ECCE. He financed those students and he tracked their performance over a period of 40 years. And he compared it with another control group who went to either, very low quality of ECCE or didn't go at all. And after 40 years, what he came to know? It's a very famous story for which he got Nobel Prize. He found that the people or the kids who went to this ECCE, the quality ECCE, which was financed by James Heckman, they were all placed very well in their life. Teenage pregnancy is very prevalent in America. There was no teenage pregnancy among these 20 students. Number 1, none of them went to jail. Number 3, each one of them is placed very well in economic terms. They are paying more taxes. They are not committing any crime. So he came to a conclusion that if you include the investment done in ECCE, the rate of return works out to 13%, which is nowhere in the world. I'm not talking about corporate sector, but no bank, no government investment can fetch you 12 to 13% return as far as ECCE is concerned. So he advised, and now in America, every child goes to ECCE. Without ECCE, they don't take in primary school. The second one is schooling. We have got a very rot system. Everybody knows, everybody complains about this rot system. What we are doing, we are burdening students with a lot of books and all these things, and they are forced to memorize things which are not going to help them in their life at all. The critical thinking has been damaged to a certain extent that they are not in position to take care of their life. In any case, our society is like this. Unless until the fellow gets married, he's dependent on his parents. So they are not independent in any sense. The schooling, I would like to propose that a Montessori clubbed with Soka Gaiki education system, which is of course Japanese system. This system, if it is implemented, ECCE is a Montessori system. These two things will prepare students for the life. Now, higher education, less said, is okay, but there's nothing to boast about. Higher education, PhD degrees are available on sale. Now, coming to the jobs, oppressed people should be dealt with in a different manner. Now, the government jobs are going, and we are coming up with private jobs. The private industry is flourishing. Where do we go? Because we do not have any reservation in private system. But the system has to be created that the companies are incentivized. They are incentivized to hire Dalits. And if they are not hiring, there's no diversity in their boardroom, there's no diversity at shop floor, then they should be penalized by way of extra 2% income tax, corporate tax. And that money which is collected by way of extra cess, it is to be spent on oppressed classes for their education upliftment and training. Now, communities. Now we have got social system. When you see the advertisement for marriages, they are caste-based marriage advertisement. What kind of this? We still, a system where FIR is not recorded without caste. Now, every mark of caste has to be removed. Now, what people are doing in other countries? What are they doing in other countries? Do they have any social marker like this? If you go to a police station, what kind of country it is? We are not in a position even to remove this caste from our FIR records. No FIR will be recorded if you don't tell your caste. Now, we are, 75 years of our independence. What we are doing now, this is of course more than that, 78. We have got army. Those name of army regiments are based on caste. Rajput regiment, Jat regiment, Sikh regiment, Gorkha regiment. I am unable to understand. These small things cannot be removed from the society where you give a level playing field. These have to be implemented. Then only we get neurojustice. We have to have public space. We have to have the social recognition field at a level playing field. Everything should be level. Then only we can say we have provided a field in which Dalits can progress. Now, neuroside to neurojustice. As I've said, if the neuroside kills our brain, we have to deal with neurojustice. What this means? Not only removing barriers, but actively creating conditions where oppressed communities can heal and flourish. They can not only, the traumatized communities are healed, but they can flourish. So neurojustice demands level playing field in classroom where every child feels safe, workplace that reward talent fairly, and communities where solidarity replaces stigma. It is the recognition that oppression has not only denied material resources, but has also scarred minds and limited cognitive freedom. True emancipation must therefore include both structural reform and psychological healing. There has to be structural reform there, along with psychological healing. You cannot deal with this problem purely in economic terms. You have to deal with in psychological terms. To move from neuroscience to neurojustice is to move from the confidence, from survival mode to creativity, from silence to collective voice. It is the restoration of right to think, plan, dream. Unless until you restore this to the Dalits, probably they will find it difficult to climb the ladder. My last slide. Conclusion and call to action. Now we have discussed what caste creates as far as our brain is concerned. I repeat, oppression, humiliation, and exclusion. They create the same kind of stress. Whether a person is physically beaten or physical violence takes place, or he is publicly humiliated, or he is stigmatized, they create the same kind of stress in our mind. Once the stress is created, it destroys the thinking capacity. It destroys the executive function. And if it is chronic, it has been done over a period of time, it transfers from one generation to another generation. If that is the thing, so we have to annihilate caste. Annihilate caste not as a political necessity, but to emancipate the soul of this nation. Unless until you do it, sorry to say, we can have palliative for cancers. We are not dealing with the cancer, but we are merely dealing with the symptoms. And to heal our trauma that is created by oppression, we have to treat patient accordingly. And that is the justice system. So, call to action is very clear. Replace humiliation with dignity in education. Replace exclusion with opportunity in economy. Replace silence with hearing in mental health. Replace stigma with solidarity in culture. Replace fear with justice in law. To annihilate caste is to liberate the brain of the nation. To restore dignity is to awaken the mind of India. And the future belongs not to neuroscience, but to neurojustice. Thank you very much. Sir, I am over.
Mahendra sir,
Yes, sir.
you are the moderator today's session.
So I had to give vote of thanks.
No, sir, this is the open for the discussion now.
Okay, so let participants should come out with questions. Actually, it's a very serious topic, very serious subject. And I don't think in India many researches have been made, and it's a very new topic for me also. My only question is whether specific studies on caste in this regard has been done in India, or any books have been published by any author in India about caste covering this aspect? This is my question.
Not to my knowledge, no study has been conducted in India as to what are the effects on the brain. What are the effects on the brain development? So I don't think. However, certain studies have been conducted in USA dealing with racial questions, the black racial questions, and they come to the same conclusion which I have just narrated. Basically, this one story, the World Bank conducted that Hoff and Pandey study. It's a very wide. I have given you a summarized version of it. It's the big survey research, and it comes to the same conclusion as the other studies conducted on blacks in America. There's another community, Romas. There was one gentleman, Jules Nordet, who compared three communities: blacks of USA, Romas in Europe, in France, is a French national, and Dalits in India. And he found that book is there. I helped him, so he has also, put my name in recognition, acknowledgements. And he came to the same conclusion that whatever, of course, he has not dealt with the neuroscience aspect of it, but he has dealt with the symptoms which are observed among these three communities. They are the same. Anybody? See, how did I land up on this topic? I was blessed with a grandchild, and I was studying and parenting, how to do parenting. I thought I must have committed while I was father of my young kids. So let's do it in a very scientific way. So I did not many courses, but in one course, that's neuroparenting. The author is a Pakistani author who said that physical violence or बच्चे के साथ में मारपीट has got the same effect as his humiliation. And then it clicked my mind that we have been humiliated for centuries. So it must affect our mind also. And that led me to study what are the causes, what are the effects of this caste on our mind. So while I went into this aspect, I came across many studies, and that is how this topic was chosen. And I've discussed with you also, sir, many a times. I did name those technical names like amygdala, oxytocins, dopamine, or cortisol. These kind of things, they affect our body.
Yes, I can relate, because we all go through such traumas in our life. In India, being a Dalit means undergoing all these traumas and boycotts and oppression and everything.
Yes. I was also, I used to wonder as to why our fellows are not cooperating with us, why they do not resist. I narrated many stories while I was mayor, that the people come to me and they ask me, sir, please help us to register our FIR. I ask them, how many of you are there in your village? But we are 100. How many of them are there? The other people, they are 50. Why can't you resist this kind of oppression? Sir, we are very poor people. But after going through it, now I come to know, and I can empathize with them, that it is not their fault, it is not their incapacity. It's basically the learned behavior, it is basically the learned helplessness and adaptation behavior, which is responsible for all these things, because we have been oppressed over a period of time. The people whose parents are very courageous, their offsprings are also very courageous. It has been observed. Sir, if there is anybody, then otherwise we wrap up.
Is there anybody can ask questions? Otherwise, we can conclude. We can have the vote of thanks. If anybody is there, please raise your. Mahendra sir, you can say
या
thank you
फाइल
to.
बंद कर दीजिए सर, फाइल बंद
You
कर
can say thank to the speaker first. Okay, let me. I will say the vote of thanks, sir. I thank all the participants who joined today's meeting. And I also thank first Abhijit Kumar sir, who gave wonderful lecture, a very new lecture, and I'm also related to the same topic. I'm also feeling like uh, I'm also teaching myself like you have to behave like this in your society because we belong to this area. We should not go that area like that. So I am relating now. So what I do, I have to check it. I thank Abhijit Kumar sir once again and Mahendra sir to uh, introduce the speaker and organize this lecture. And I thank one and all. We'll meet again on next Saturday with let's just see this number 63. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.
थैंक यू, थैंक यू.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.